Good morning, good evening. I hope you're having a wonderful and blessed day. What I want to talk about this morning, I want to talk about two things in particular. One I've already talked about and touched on before, which is in the recording I did about Facebook and Facebook groups. And it's not to, let me just be clear, not to talk negative about Facebook groups. I talk very positive about some groups that I'm already in on Facebook, but I'm talking about people who come in and who are like trying to get folks to, or I say folks, but people in general, trying to get you and whoever else is in the Facebook group to follow their beliefs. And a lot of times they come in there and tell you, you don't need to pray to Jesus. You don't need to go to Jesus for anything. All you need to do is go to your ancestors and they will talk to you and speak to you verbally. And I touched a little bit on that about a young lady that came in there, and she was sharing this image of an article that she had read. And it was about, it was a picture of a cartoon character throwing all the stuff of the Bible and even a picture of Jesus in the box. And you click on the story and read the article. It's about a lady sharing her life and journey of leaving, following Jesus Christ, to talking to her ancestors, and she talked to 4 of them in her house. So that is not, that's of a demonic energy. Anytime you are talking to someone that does not have a fleshy body and they're verbally talking back to you in your house, that's way different, and you're talking to a demonic spirit. Now she's saying they verbally talk back to her. That tell you like a little bit too much of that. That's not, no. Now I want to clarify some things. I talked about me dealing with demonic influence, and I mentioned that on one of my other recordings. And on the recording, I think I did 2 or 3 of them to continue them and to give you like a breakdown. And I shared about how I felt like someone was doing like witchcraft. That's what I felt. And mine was different than that. It was like one person at first talking to me through my mind, meaning like I can hear them talking, but they were not talking in the room. And it wasn't like you couldn't tell there was something demonic going on, because after a while, the more I start communicating with it in my mind, the more I started feeling like that negative presence. And I didn't really get down in detail about that because I really didn't want to scare a lot of people, because there were some other things that actually happened and some things that my son saw. And that's when I had to start rebuking it. And because I started feeling like there was just some things that was just not right. And I shouldn't have been even going in that direction. But that is totally different than what I'm talking about. This is a person who has shared a story about speaking to, I think, 4 or 5 of their ancestors. And verbally, they talk back to her, and verbally, she talks back to them. And she's encouraging people to stop following Jesus and focus more on your ancestors who talk to you in a verbally way. Now, mine was demonic, what I dealt with, and this is demonic, what she's talking about. Because in the word, you need to have a fleshy body. When you're not talking to someone of a human body who does not have a flesh body, you are talking to a demonic spirit. And they're verbally talking back to you. That's not, no. You're going in another direction. And as I mentioned about that topic in that Facebook group, there are people that go specifically into groups looking for people to lead them to follow what Satan wants them to do. And that is one thing that I was touching on. I'm going to continue to touch on this subject a little bit more in this recording. The other one I want to talk about today is about people who are on television, or even if they're not on television. They want you to basically send money for a product they have. And it's not like a product. It's like something like, let's say, water or something like that, in order to receive your blessing. It can be like of anything in general. I know pastors have talked about this before, where people will have like stuff, and if you don't send the money now, God it's not, Jesus is not going to bless you. He's not going to bless you. Send your money now, and then you receive this, and it will, you put it up in your home, or you do this, and then Jesus will bless you. Now, I'm not talking about people who are selling product on their program, meaning like, this is going to help your body, or this is going to help you have the scripture in your house, because they're not doing that. They're not saying, buy this product, send the money, then Jesus will bless you. No, they're saying you can buy this if you want to, and you can get these, get this, and then it is something that you would actually use. In other words, meaning like, let's say if it's a recording of a book or a tape or something like that, or body product for your body, they're not telling you to send money in order to be blessed by God. They're not doing that. They already have the product on their page or something. These are the people I'm talking about, are people who tell you to send something now to receive this in order for you to receive your blessing. And I guarantee you, once you send your money into me now, and then the product will come, then you will get a blessing, and Jesus will appear in your home, and he will take care of everything. That is not how the Bible teaches, and that is not Jesus. Jesus don't teach like that. You don't have to send money in to buy a product to receive Jesus' love and grace from him. You do not have to buy anything. You don't have to buy stuff to receive it. Like, God don't want you to spend money to receive his love. God don't want you to spend money to get a blessing. You should not have to send something in order for God to heal you, is what I'm saying. Like, what I'm talking about are, like, I don't want you to get confused about what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about the pastors who say send in money to donate to help what we're doing, meaning like helping the homeless, helping the sick, and helping the church build and reach more people. That's not what I'm talking about. They don't even tell you to send it in, or else it's not going to bless you. They never say that. They just said, you can send money to us to help us keep the program on if you would like. They never tell you you have to. I'm talking about people, like you have some folks, because there's some of them that's in the world, not just on TV. They'll have like something in particular in their hand, and they'll say, I want you to send me $1,000 or $100 or $50 to receive this blessing. And when you send me the money, then I guarantee you Jesus is going to bless you. That's what I'm talking about. So I don't want you to get it confused with pastors asking for tithing. Not that pastors asking for you to send money to help their ministry grow, to help those who are sick in other countries, because there are other people who are in other countries who cannot receive the help that they need, and Jesus wants them to receive that loving help from these pastors who are doing amazing work. I'm talking about people in general that you can see their program. The whole entire program is based on that. It's based on, I have this item in my hand, and you send me like $50 or $100, and I guarantee you Jesus is going to bless you. Now, come on. That's not something Jesus will do. Like, for you to send money to receive a blessing. Okay? Now, you want to give generously out of your heart. Now, for me, I'm talking about, I want to make sure, I want to clarify it again. I'm not talking about people who are asking for you to send in love offerings and tithings, because that's two different things. I have sent money to particular programs that I watch on TV. And these programs, they're not sitting there asking for you to send money to receive something. They're asking you to send money to help those who are in need. And then those who church that are helping to build a little bit more. Now, the ones I'm talking about, you've seen them before. They are sitting either in a room by themselves, and they're talking about sending money in order to receive your blessing. And once you send it, God is going to heal you and whatever is ailing you. That's what I'm talking about. So I just wanted to clarify that. I don't want you to get that confused, because it's two different things. I also wanted to talk continuously about the young lady who about that subject earlier that I was touching on. You want to be careful of people trying to get you to stop following Jesus and get into a religion that they have been a part of, which is mostly like a cult. Or not even just a cult, like some kind of demonic belief. People don't really realize, but there are people actually out here doing witchcraft. And people don't really think that that's actual factual. And I didn't really believe it either until I had an experience of my own. And then I start realizing, I can't believe it's grown people out here actually doing this. But I had to tell myself, if it's people out here worshiping Satan, they have their own thing that they're doing. And there's people who do voodoo, like my grandmother used to tell me, things you don't understand, you don't want to get involved with. And she always used to talk to us about staying away from voodoo. And my grandmother, and my mom and her siblings, some of her siblings who were born already before they came to Los Angeles, my side of the family is from New Orleans. So my grandmother was very familiar, my grandfather was very familiar about people doing voodoo. And she made that clear to us as her grandkids and to all her kids. I don't want you touching and getting into voodoo or being around people who do voodoo, because it opens up the wrong door, and she's seen people go through stuff firsthand. And that should tell you that is enough to watch out for. Same thing for Ouija boards. I want to share a short story on that, because I don't want to put that part on here. It's about a particular person who I know of two, but I'm only going to speak of one, because that particular person's, because the other person, hers wasn't like that. She just felt some weirdness, but I'll share that as well. So I'll share the two. The other person, his was very, very, very scary. But this is just so you'll know there's things you need to stay away from, and don't open up doors that Jesus himself will tell you not to touch. He will talk to you and tell you what you need to stay away from. So my main thing is just to educate you on this part. I felt like my heart was led for me to tell you, just to share that, and then to talk about that subject matter about watching out for people trying to get you to pray to ancestors who have already passed on, and they're walking around physically in your home. It's some other stuff that just came to my mind that I want to talk about. So I'm going to add that onto the other recording that I'm going to be talking about. Someone that I knew personally who dealt with personally who used to mess around with the Ouija board. So I'm going to end this topic here, and I want to say just have a wonderful and blessed day, and thank you so much for listening, and I'm just going to keep uploading and sharing as much as I need to, because I know Jesus wants me to share a lot of the stuff that is coming across my heart. And those two that I just mentioned as I was talking, that is something that he brought to my heart to share about. I want you to have a wonderful and blessed day. Bye.